Well, I went on through school and was very driven to be a pianist and to perform on stages. Funny how that worked out, isn't it? And I used to practice and practice and practice because I was driven. I had a goal. And isn't that what you have to do every day? When you have the goal, doesn't mean you like it. Doesn't mean it's convenient. But if you're going to make the goal, you have to do the practicing. And that's what I did. Every day practicing. Nobody had to make me do it. I had the goal. I set the goal for myself. Have any of you ever tried to get your child to practice and they didn't want to practice? They didn't see the goal. They didn't see what it was that they could accomplish. So by the time I got out of school, I had a degree in piano, and then I got a master's degree in choral conducting. And I thought I was ready for life, that everything was going to work out fine. Isn't that what they told you? You're going to, grow up and go to school and get a good job and everything will be fine. How many know it's not fine now? I understand you have this wonderful term here called redundant. Is this correct? This happens to people. So I thought, what's happened now? I have all these degrees and everything should be good, and it wasn't good. And I had 2 young children. They were 4 and 7. And someone showed me this business. And I didn't believe it. So if you're here for the first time today and you're wondering, is this true? Could it possibly be? I'll tell you. I'm 1,860 years old now, and it's really true. So from the time I started till now, it's 26 years, I've never seen a business that has more possibility for you for the future than this. And I've been offered hundreds of businesses. I'm sure Trevor and Graham and Hillary have too. Buy companies, get into companies, but I've never seen anything with this kind of potential. So you are an absolutely perfect place for this. But I was checking everything, looking over everything, wondering, would this thing work? And I remember thinking, boy, this better work out or I'm going to kill somebody. Because they tell you all these things and how you should work and everything. So I go to my first convention. Now, first of all, they told me we had to go to a convention in Portland. Now, for me, in good weather, that was 4 hours. But we had a lot of snow in Oregon. And so in bad weather, that could be 6 hours. How long is it going to take you to get to Gothenburg? Depends on if you swim or fly, I guess. But, it's a ways. And it's a commitment for you to think about. Should I go? Is it really worth it to go? Well, this is how I had to go. Number one, it dawned on me one day that if I were going to have any money at all to build any kind of a business, I had to sell products. What a phenomenal idea. So I began to get some retail clients and to sell products so that I had the money for my meetings and for my tapes and my tickets. But I didn't count on needing money for a hotel room. So I drove over there in my Volkswagen, and I slept in the Volkswagen at the meeting. 2 nights. It's a little cold in the winter in Oregon. But you know what? If you have a goal, you can do it. And when I would take the kids, I always made sure I arranged babysitting in the town where we were going. Much cheaper. And I'm with the kids all the way there. Arranged babysitting there. And then I took the kids on a special treat afterwards. And I would always tell them, kids, this is going to be so much fun. We're going to go camping in the city. You've never been camping in the city before. It's really fun to go camping in the city. So we'd pack a little lunch, and we'd take their little sleeping bags and everything, and I'd take them over to the babysitters, and then when we were done, I'd smile, thank you very much, and then we'd go back and park in a gas station overnight, and we'd camp in the city. And they're all, if mom thinks it's fun, they think it's fun. Hello? Right? If you're acting like it's a drag, it's a drag. But if you think it's fun, they think it's fun. So we had picnics in the car. We had camping in the car. Oh, by the way, this is a Volkswagen. Some of you are too young to remember that, but they were called Bugs appropriately. And I used to wear one. You just put it on and you stir it up and you take it to work. Literally, the first day I drove it, I couldn't figure out reverse because I didn't know about that push down thing. So I just got it neutral and I got out and I pushed the car around the direction I needed to go. It was very easy, actually. It wasn't a problem at all. Then got it in the first gear to take off. But that's how I started. Do any of you feel encouraged yet? So when you talk about I have no time and I have no money, I always say I'll match you. I was teaching full-time at a university. I taught 35 piano students every week. I would go back to the college and teach 4 nights of night school. And then I directed community theater on Saturdays. And then at church on Sunday, I played the organ and directed the choir. Tell me you're busier than that. And then no money. Remember me? I'm already in the hole every month. So when they told me we could make $400, I was extremely excited because that's exactly how much I was in the hole every month. I made $800. I had $1,200 worth of bills. So even a music teacher can figure out, hey, if I had $400, I could just like get even, you know? So I realized I didn't know much about business. I could tell you all about Beethoven and Bach and the boys, but I didn't know anything about business. But suddenly it dawned on me, they have a school. Today you are in school. And isn't it nice you can chew gum in this school? You know, you can drink a coffee, you can have a water. Hopefully you don't, talk to each other or you have your cell phone on. But, this is a relaxed school. But you are learning. And the best part about this school is you don't have to get a loan to come to it. And you can make money while you are in school. That's a good kind of school, isn't it? And so we create our own capital as we go. So however much your budget is that you need every month, whether it's, money for babysitting or money for gas in your car, I think you need that here. It's very expensive, your gas here, I think. And so whatever it is that you need, then create it out of your clients. And hello, what's happening to your PV all the time? Oh, it's going up at the same time. So when I finally got that through my very thick and stubborn head, things began to happen and things started to grow. So I began to dream about the future and what it could be. And the children had very specific responsibilities. Paul was 4. His job was to deliver the orders to the neighbors. Now, I lived out of town a little ways, and so when somebody ran out of dishwasher soap, they didn't go to the store, they called Beverly. And so Paul would run down to their house and give them the dishwasher soap. The key thing was I had it where? On hand. It wasn't, I can order that for you. I had it on hand because that was a customer. So he'd go down there, and the joke was, I'd always say, Paul, make sure you get the check. They'd always give him candy, cute little boy. I said, forget the candy, I need the check, That's the way it was with the piano students, too. Some weeks they paid, and some weeks they didn't pay. So that was always our little joke. So Paul would deliver the orders. Debbie's job at 7 was to answer the phone nicely and take the orders. Do you know children can answer the phone well if you train them? Hi, this is Debbie speaking. May I take your order, please? So she'd write it all down, and then he'd deliver the order to the neighbors. So they each had specific jobs. And when I went out to show the plan, it was a reward for them because they got to go to a friend's house. I found a mother whose husband worked late at night, and she had 2 children my kids' age, and I would take the kids over there with their sleeping bags, more inconvenient for me, but more fun for them. A mom that I knew would take care of them, and they would stay there, and she'd help them with their homework and tuck them in their little bags, and I'd come in about midnight, pick them up in their bags, and carry them home. Difficult, but worth it, because I wanted to make sure my children were taken care of, and they were having a good time at the same time. But we had goals all the way along. When Mom hits 15%, you can spend $15 in the catalog. And when we go silver, you get a silver bike. So I made sure the day we hit silver that they each got a new silver bike. That was a big deal. I said, okay, now we're going to work really hard. And when we go emerald, we're going to Hawaii. You know how long that took? 4 years later. 4 years later. It's good for children to wait. It's good for them to work on a goal. How many times does your son or daughter want something, you stomp their feet a little bit or put their lip out so you get it for them? But teaching them that delayed gratification was one of the most important lessons that they learned about life. That things don't come easy and they don't come quickly. And so 4 years later, we went to Hawaii as a family and had a great time. Saw the whales and just, really enjoyed ourselves. Rented a helicopter to look around the islands. Wonderful time. So I said, okay, kids, we're going to go back home and work. And when we go diamond, we're going to come back to Hawaii, and you can each bring a friend. Suddenly they had very many friends. But I said they don't qualify as a friend unless they're buying from us or they're in our business. Yeah? And you know what? It's amazing. It's amazing how they could prospect. This was the deal I made with them. How many of you know what a prospecting tape is? You know what those are. I said, if you get the tape to one of your friends' parents or to a teacher, I'll give you $10. If I get the plan in front of them, you get $25. So Debbie would go to her teacher and say, you have a very bad car. You need to talk to my mother. Kids can get away with this. It's amazing. 4 years later, we went diamond. And I remember the day before we left on our trip, I was asked to speak by the company for a regional event. Now I'm a brand new diamond, I'm single, I'm scared to death. I know you can't believe that, but you know, it was in 1841 or something, it's a long time ago. So I'm standing up on this stage with this huge crowd on the Long Beach Arena, and here on the front row is Rich DeVos. And next to him is a couple I hadn't met yet, Jim and Nancy Dornan. And I'm a brand new diamond. And I was telling about my dream of taking my children to Hawaii, and that they each had brought a friend, and that we were leaving the next day. So we're up very early in the morning. You know how it is before a really cool trip. You don't sleep at all, do you? You jump on, pack one more thing, you look at everything again, you don't sleep at all. So we're up early the next morning. We're all dressed in our Hawaiian outfits, and we have on our sunglasses and our sun hats, and we're the typical Hawaiian tourists. We're ready to go. So we're standing out in front of the hotel, each of the children with their friend, and we're looking for the bus to take us to the airport. No bus comes. We're waiting. I said, "Where's the bus?" And the bellman says, "There's no bus this time of morning." I said, "There has to be a bus. We've been working on this goal for 4 years. We cannot miss that plane." I'm thinking about all those late charges and changing flights, which I couldn't afford and all that. And he said, "No, there's no bus." And the children start crying, "Mom, we've worked so hard for this goal. We can't miss our plane because we don't have a way to get to the airport." And then the bellman says, "Yes, but this was ordered for you." And I look over, and a big, long, white limousine comes up to the hotel. The kids, I'm standing with my teeth hanging out, thinking, who's going to pay for that? And the kids just jump in the car. They open the windows, they got the Cokes going. "Come on, Mom, we're going to Hawaii." They're just waving out the top of the car. And about that time, I hear a voice behind me. "Would you like me to take a picture?" It was Rich DeVos. And he had ordered the car. And I was so excited, I handed him the camera. He took our picture, and I forgot to take his picture. But we grow, don't we? We change and we grow. But the journey is worth it. At the time, you think, this is so hard, I can never make this. I don't see how this will ever work. But as I look at my children now, my son's 29, my daughter's 33, their lives have been shaped by this business and by the people and the associations that they've met. When Debbie decided to go on a big tour of the UK a few years ago, she hung out at Derek and Pat's house. And my daughters also met Trevor and Jackie in other places in the world. And so has my son. So those kind of treasures, how can you measure that? And ladies, especially, you need to think about that. Because so many times, well, we're going to do this and it'll take time away from my children. Well, let's look at what your children are really learning. What are they learning about these kind of skills in school? What kind of things are they learning about money?